All right. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening. It's 5:15 on Wednesday, February 24th. I hope you received one of CCA's newsletters this morning or midday because I mentioned a little bit about the legislative tracking that we're doing on behalf of recreational anglers, which is an important part of our annual work during the legislative session. So, of course, the 2021 legislative session is in. And I just want to give a really quick point-and-click video through the General Assembly's website. So I'm going to add this up here. This is what you'll find at the URL that's streaming across the bottom of the page of the General Assembly website. You could also Google this. And, just like many things on the internet, there's so many different ways to get to places. There's also so many ways to find information about bills that are currently being considered by the General Assembly. And so here's the homepage. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a guideline or a guide on how to navigate it. There's this something that's really important for folks who are going to track bills and really want to make sure they get updates, even daily updates on what the status is. You want to use this My MGA button up here. So this is an important tool. And I have a list. It's our CCA tracking list. And I'm able to edit it and change kind of some of my settings. I can run a report. It's a pretty simple system. There's a frequently asked questions button right here because that's really helpful for folks that want to learn how to use this. And there's a witness sign up section. So this is really important. This is where folks can actually step up and say, I want to attend a committee hearing because committees are the ultimate opportunity for you to weigh in on a bill across all of the folks that are going to be considering whether the bill makes it forward or not. So remember, a bill is introduced by a member. It could be introduced by many members together. It could be introduced on the Senate side, on the House side. It could be introduced on both. There's lots of different options, and there's a lot of really good kind of FAQ of the system as well built into this website. But ultimately, let's say here we are, and here's a view of two items that CCA is weighing in on. I clicked the witness sign up page. What I did was yesterday signed up for tomorrow's hearing. And as I mentioned in our newsletter, this is a bill that we will be providing an unfavorable testimony for. So we oppose this bill. It's House Bill 1117, and it relates to whether or not fishing is allowed in the right-of-way of the state highway in the Kent Narrows. And then on Friday, we'll be testifying in support of a work group that's going to work on finding public access and looking kind of out into the future and figuring out what can we do to make sure we have access for all citizens to our waterways. And so this is an idea that we thought was worth supporting. So I'll be testifying in support of that bill on Friday. So that's just why these are here. If it was before 3 p.m., there would be a really long list of all the House and Senate items that are available for sign up. And that's key, before 3 p.m., because 3 p.m. is the deadline. And so I've already signed up for these because I got in underneath that 3 p.m. deadline, and it's a deadline for 2 days in advance. So today I had to submit our Friday testimony. Yesterday, I submitted our Thursday testimony. Okay, and so this is the way that the automated system allows this to work. And when you say that you're going to sign up for written and oral testimony, or you can see it says both for us, you're given an opportunity to upload your written testimony. You're also notified that there's only so much room in this virtual world with all these bills being heard. The committees only have so much room for proponents or opponents of the bills. And so that's just a reality, and you'll get an email if you sign up to be somebody that's going to give oral testimony, and that includes a Zoom link. So the Zoom link is managed by the committee staff and the committee chair and vice chair and leadership, and they'll welcome you right into that Zoom room when it's time to testify and talk right into the microphone or the camera on your computer. If you're doing written testimony, that's automatically submitted to all the members on the committee. Okay, so again, a committee is a key part of where the rubber hits the road for conversations around bills, and you can always go up and check out the different committees. But it's key is for you as a citizen to know who represents you. And so here's a great color-coded map of the different districts. You also have the ability to click lookup and do a search. And so when you do that, it gives you an idea of who represents you. Let's just take 36. This happens to be one of the delegates that introduced the Kent Narrows bill. So there you go. You can actually click this link, click through to this delegate. You can see what he represents district-wise. And then right here, right above him is a link to the legislation that he sponsored this session or is involved with. And so this is a great way to just, if you know who introduced the bill, you can find the bill this way. Go to House Bill 117. Again, this is the one we'll be talking about or testifying on tomorrow. You can click right here and see the actual bill language and read this. And, bill language is odd. Sometimes you're going to have to read it time and time again, and you're going to scratch your head. Something to remember is this little cheat sheet right here at the bottom. It says capitals indicate something being added to existing law, and then the brackets would encompass something being removed. And so this is a very simple one. What it says is a pedestrian may not catch fish by any means within the state highway right-of-way at the Kent Narrows Bridge in Queen Anne's County. So to give you an idea of a process, we saw this bill. Pretty much anything that comes up that's related to fishing, we're tracking. And so we started looking at it. And it's related to transportation, which thankfully is the same committee that environmental issues are heard under, the Environment and Transportation Committee in the House. And so what CCA did is we did some research. We wanted to figure out, what does this address? What would this law do if it was passed? Who's it going to affect? All these things. And so we ended up writing testimony that I shared in a newsletter this morning. And you'll see some more on our website here shortly. We talked about why we oppose it. This was written by our government relations chairman, Steve Klein, who happens to be a Queen Anne County resident and an expert on natural resource access and other policies. So ultimately, we found a lot of great tools online, and we provided this to the committee so we can talk about it tomorrow. Here's the right-of-way from the State Highway website. And so there's tons of technology that can lead you to some answers. It just takes some hard work. And ultimately, what this bill would propose, by the way we're reading it, is that everything within this blue line that intersects with the water would no longer be a fishing spot. A lot of this area, you can't really fish anyway. You'll see some a video or some pictures here from Google Streets. This is the drawbridge, Route 18, right? And there's actually a sign here that already says no fishing. And you can see that I zoomed in here. No swimming, fishing, crabbing from bridge. And anybody that's been to this area to maybe launch a boat in the boat ramp back here, you've probably seen folks fishing here. You maybe been fishing here yourself along this this bulkhead. And so what we have is an area that's traditionally a fishing area, has been for a long time, has been invested in by waterway funds for boating and fishing access, public funds, and now there's a bill that says you can't fish here. And so what we really propose is that we need to figure out the details here. Why was this bill introduced? We know there's some safety issues. Folks have slipped off the bridge abutment, which is the base of the bridge here. There's been actual dead bodies, and we don't want folks getting hurt fishing, but we need to balance that access and opportunity with the safety concerns. Another key point about this area: there's no signage in Spanish, but we know that lots of anglers that speak Spanish are fishing here, and so maybe any other signage that's there in English may not be reaching these folks. And that's a key consideration here. There's some improvements we can make if there's conflict and safety issues that can benefit all participants of our users of our resource. So that's kind of what we're focused here on this bill. And tomorrow there will be a hearing. So let me get back to how you could actually follow along with that. Right here on this bill, there's lots of great active links. You can go right to the Environment and Transportation Committee. There's a picture of the chair. And you can go down here and it explains to you how to sign up. All that stuff I already talked about, plus a YouTube link to the committee live stream. So if you're not testifying, you just want to follow along with this committee, you can actually follow along and see what the bill sponsor and supporting panel might say, what an opposing panel might say. So tomorrow, I'll be on this YouTube at some point, and talking through this issue with the committee. So beyond these committee meetings, of course, it's really key, and I'm going to go back to this finding your representative piece, because where you live, you have a delegate and senator, multiple in some cases, that represent you. And so it's important to figure out who they are. We hope that you have a relationship with them already. We recommend that be, just a part of everyday life now, is engaging with those who are representing us. And so if you do that, you'll already know how to contact them. But ultimately, again, you can go right here, click House, maybe know what the person looks like, because you can't remember their name, right? You get a picture, and vice versa. That's great. It lists who they are, and you can sort them by various different ways. I mean, this is really a great website, especially given the conditions we're in right now. And so I'm going to bring up one more bill that I want folks to check out. It's coming next week. Delegate Seth Howard. So let's see. Oh, there he is. Okay, so I just happen to know that Delegate Howard introduced a bill related to hull seining, netting in the waters of Anne Arundel County, and we are working on our position for this legislation. So here's an example. I know the delegate that introduced it. Okay, I can shortcut to the bill. Oh, here it is. There you go. So there's a hearing next Wednesday, the 3rd. And so what we're doing is working with a group of groups and the representatives of groups to talk through this bill later this week, to finalize our position, and then to sign up. And the deadline to sign up is 2 days before this hearing at 3 p.m. So Monday will be the deadline to sign up on this particular bill. And it's important to read it. This one's a lot more complex than the last one, but it's important to read it. Also, this little pin right here, you can click it. Whoop. Well, I'm not signed in, but you can click it and it'll add it to your watch list. And you can get daily email reports that tell you what's going to happen with each of these bills. So that's an important piece of the puzzle. And again, this is just one example, and you can always get right back to the delegates page and find their contact information. And realize that, of course, we're all virtual. There's a lot going on. And I highly recommend just calling and being very respectful, being very clear about your position and why you feel a certain way on something, asking a lot of questions. And realizing that these are very complex issues, and sometimes a bill is drafted in a way that maybe wasn't the intent. And it's important to have conversation and deliberation over these issues, especially those that relate to the natural resource use. So again, I say a quick video, but you let me start talking and it's going to last. So here we are, about 12 minutes. I hope this was a little bit helpful for folks, and you can understand what's going on. We are very close to having a kind of a full rundown in our CCA website of everything we've been up to this session. There's just so much going on. It's hard to allocate the time to that. So I wanted to do a quick video today. So I hope this is helpful to some folks. Share this around, let folks know how they can engage. The bottom line is you have to be informed about how you can bring your voice to bear on these issues. And I recommend always being respectful and realizing that lots of different viewpoints are important in shaping our policies as we move forward. So thank you very much, and have a good evening.